Lisbon is the stunning capital city of Portugal and is one of the most charismatic and vibrant cities in Europe. It is a city that effortlessly blends traditional heritage with striking modernism and progressive thinking. As a holiday destination, Lisbon offers a rich and varied history, buzzing nightlife, and is blessed with a glorious year-round climate. This article will show why you must visit Lisbon and offers tips on how to get the most from your holiday here. Lisbon is a bustling and exciting city that boasts a wide selection of activities and fascinating tourist attractions. It has a welcoming and liberal atmosphere while still embracing its deep-rooted heritage and extensive history. Lisbon will appeal to a diverse selection of ages and tourists. It can form a cultural trip, a nightlife extravaganza, a family holiday, a relaxed city break, or even as a base for a beach holiday. The Portuguese capital is constantly recognized as one of the greatest cities in the world, a claim confirmed by the Lonely Planet Guides, who named Lisbon one of the world's top 10 cities. Surprisingly, Lisbon is still one of Europe's least visited capitals. However, this is rapidly changing as new visitors discover the allure of Portugal. Near the National Theatre, St. Dominic's Church, dating from 1241, survived the Great Earthquake of 1755 and a fire in 1959 that completely destroyed its interior. Although the original medieval structure has disappeared, the church shows a rich combination of different styles. The church is located on Largo de São Domingos, a square popular among Lisbon's African community daily gathers here. A monument mural, inaugurated in 2008, reads Lisbon, City of Tolerance in 34 languages, recalling the terrible episode of 1506 and paying tribute to the Jewish victims. The square has several stores and cafes and is home to the famous cherry brandy shop, A Gingina. Baroque and Mannerist influences are the most visible styles of St. Dominic's Church. All those that visit its interior are surprised by the scale of the church nave, so different from the idea one makes of it from the outside. It was also here that in 1506 began one of the darkest episodes in Lisbon's history, a 3-day massacre where hundreds of people accused of being Jews, and thus guilty of heresy, were persecuted, tortured, and killed. The Lisbon Massacre, also known as the 1506 Easter Slaughter, began on a Sunday Mass in April when believers were praying for the end of the drought, hunger, and plague that ravaged Portugal at the time. One believer claimed to have had a vision of Christ, a miracle as interpreted by other Catholics. When a new Christian tried to explain the miracle as light reflection, the crowd wouldn't want to listen. The new Christian was beaten to death. Thereafter, all Jews in the city were accused of heresy. It was also here that some years later, those condemned by the Portuguese Inquisition were left waiting to be burned alive at Rossio. Later, only the sacristy and altar survived the Great Earthquake of 1755. The rest had to be rebuilt in the years that followed. The sumptuous interior of gilded wood carving and valuable paintings was to be destroyed by a fire in 1959. When the church reopened in 1994, the marks of fire were left exposed on the church walls. Walk around the Moreira area of Lisbon, one of the city's oldest parts, and you might discover a series of portraits printed onto the ancient walls. This is the work of Brit-born photographer Camilla Watson. Named a tribute, the wall-based artwork is a series of portraits of the elderly members of the community, which weaves its way physically and metaphorically through the neighborhood. It is a collaborative community project involving the local residents of a small area of Moreira called São Cristóvão, where residents volunteered to have their photographs taken and displayed with their names in large letters. At least 25 photographs of local residents are exhibited on the walls of Bico das Farinas. The project has been very successful in every aspect. The locals are proud and love the attention, and it brings an immediate intimacy welcome for visitors to the area. Because the photographs are printed either onto wood or directly onto the wall using a liquid silver emulsion, most of them are still there and in super condition. The garden of the Castelo des Jorge is the only remaining green space in Lisbon where the primary native species of Portuguese forest predominate. Visitors can observe such trees as cork oak, olive, carob, strawberry, umbrella pine, and various fruit trees in memory of the vegetable garden of the Royal Palace of the Alcocover. Due to its exceptional location, Castelo des Jorge stands out among Lisbon's belvederes for its unique and majestic sights. Built in the mid-11th century, during the Moorish period, this fortification is situated in the area most difficult to access at the top of the hill, making use of the natural slopes to the north and west. This vast waterfront square, also known as Terreiro do Paco or the Palace Square, is where the Royal Palace stood for over 2 centuries until 1755 when it was destroyed by the Great Earthquake. The royal family moved to another residence in the district of Belém, and the new arcaded buildings acted as the port of entry to the city. On the north side are Triumphal Arch and one of the city's legendary cafes, Café Martinho da Arcada. It dates from 1782 and was a favorite of poets Fernando Pessoa and Almeida Garrett and of novelist Steca Queiroz. The city's main tourism office is located in one of the classical buildings on the west side of the square. Here, visitors can request information about the city or shop at a store offering traditional Portuguese products. Most of the government offices that once surrounded the square have now been taken over by restaurants with outdoor tables, and there's a modern interactive museum called Lisboa Story Center dedicated to the history of the city. Pink Street is located in Cadu Sodra, just around the corner from the historic Mercado da Ribeira. Cadu Sodra is one of Lisbon's most popular neighborhoods and is home to some of the most standout spots such as the Time Out Market. The story behind the picturesque street. Sometimes, it is easier to convert neighborhoods with the most colorful histories into spectacular, trendy hangouts. This was certainly the case with Lisbon's Pink Street, originally known as Rua Nova do Carvalho. Rua Nova do Carvalho had some very shady beginnings. It is a pedestrian street once known as a meeting point for sailors, local criminals, and prostitutes. Sailors and criminals would come by for a good time to enjoy the company of women at the gambling dens, brothels, and seedy bars. The street at the time developed a bad reputation until it had a complete makeover. The makeover of Pink Street began in 2011 when the city made the effort to turn the neighborhood's atmosphere and reputation around. They closed the doors of brothels and dodgy rundown bars to open cozy cafes and a new kind of nightlife. This has attracted locals and tourists from all over the world. Even renovated factories are fair game when opening a bookshop in Portugal. Lur devagar, meaning read slowly, in the LX factory is another of Portugal's most aesthetically pleasing stores. It is located on a street filled with 19th century factories that have been converted for artistic and culinary purposes. The Portuguese are known for their sweet tooth, and this shop is another store and cafe, selling delicious cakes and pies along with their books.